What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, and as usual, I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. I haven't said that in a minute, where it's just myself, normally Crispy up here. But ladies and gentlemen, y'all see we got my boy Devin back on the show. You know what I'm saying? So, Devin, how's everything with you, bro?
Everything's going well. Thank you for having me here. Happy Memorial Weekend to everybody out there. Hope you guys are all spending it with your loved ones or those that matter to you.
I ain't never heard this man talk that quick or that short in my life. I swear to you, it is crazy. We are on a good one right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're off to a fast track. So just to give y'all clarification, this is our quarter 1 through 4 format, right? We got obviously some topics to talk about each quarter. So with that being said, Dev, you ready?
So let's get it.
All right. Let's go ahead and get it started then. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So listen, Devin.
It's good, G.
What's your definition of a best team? We just gonna cut right into it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna hem and haw. What's your definition of a best team? And is there a difference for you between all the sports, or is it just a unanimous definition for best team?
I would say that it's universal amongst whatever arena you're in because there are certain principles that lead into you being that team, right? So for me, I would say any team that has the ability to just like in life, being able to overcome circumstances. It's not about what happens to you as much as it is how you react to it. So if you're that team that, you lose a key player on your team or, somebody has a life circumstance and they can't perform that night, do you have the young guys that are willing to step in and step out and keep the train rolling, even if it may seem like the odds are against you or impossible? That's what I think separates the elites and the great ones from the ones who prefer mediocrity or just being like there.
Just being there, being relevant.
Exactly.
I get that. I think the best teams, which is kind of what you're saying, they pay attention to detail.
Exactly.
They have that passion. It's a level of professionalism.
Mm-hmm.
And there are plenty of teams out there that have tremendous talent. Like if I want to look at basketball, for example, it's no shade or slight on these boys at all. I'm just trying to use it as an example. But the Pelicans, right?
Okay, here. See what he did there, right? You want to preface. But he want to preface, but then he want to throw shots at my team. Like,
I know where you're coming. But I'm about to say, your team is ran by two of my boys. Like, y'all know where we from. Zion, he come from good stock. Bi, he come from good stock. So like they have tremendous talent. I even said, dude, they could beat the Thunder without Zion.
Yes.
Now that looks a little foolish right now because the Thunder beat the Pelicans.
It does.
But I think though they have the talent to do so. Now where it comes into, I think OKC, for example, was a better team.
Mm-hmm.
Might not have had more talent. I think they had similar talent, although, Shea being on team MVP, that helps them out. Certain Zion not being there, cool. But they actually had a good, talented team around them. So and they showed their passion all throughout the season. They were the number one team. We weren't expecting that, right?
Yeah.
So again, that boils down to that best team for me. Would a team like the Thunder be considered the best team in the game of basketball for you, out of curiosity? And it's just it's an opinion.
I think right now, no, because they're not still playing right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I would say right now, personally, because I've been following them a little bit right now, it's a team like the Timberwolves, Ant-Man. So, and I think that's the difference, right? I'll speak about my team. You brought up the Pelicans, right? And this is something that I've known for the last, I'll say, 2 years. The issue with my team is they have the potential and the capability to be one of the top teams to compete with the Lakers or all those greats that are out there on the Western Conference. The issue is, without Zion, they just don't know how to continue to push through. And that's the issue that I feel for them is you have to be able to still compete at a competitive level, even if you're top baller.
Mm-hmm.
And respectfully, BI is that dude as well. They're both the top two
Okay,
alpha dogs.
you got
Yes.
BI over there.
But if one alpha dog is on the court and one is off, you have to still be able to push the needle forward with everybody else around the team.
And I agree, but let me ask you this too, though. At what point in time does something like coaching matter? Because I also mentioned, we said best team, but I don't think the team is just the players on the court. I think the player. Sure. I think team extends to coaches, management, like owners. Hell, even the fans, bro. Like we play a part of it. If I don't watch the first half of a Duke basketball game, I won't watch the second. Now, if it's UNC, that's a little different. Like I'm gonna catch the game now. I'm gonna be there with my boys, but I'm a little superstitious because if I see we're up, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm not gonna be selfish, right? Like I'm playing my team. I'm playing my role.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking maybe in that situation, it's your team has a good team. And I hate to do this too, but like maybe we need to look at Willie Green a little bit more. Maybe we need to look at ownership a little bit more and see if they're making the best moves. Now,
I disagree.
Okay. Why do you disagree?
I would disagree from this
And I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
I know you play devil's advocate, but I want to help educate my audience, the ones who may not be as honed in on the Pels like I am per se, right? Because I'm from New Orleans, so I understand. I have people that will say X, Y, Z. I don't think ownership is an issue because if you look at, there's a statistic, Gail Benson is, I think, ranked in the top 5 for the most spending for an owner of a team, and she owns both the Pels and the Saints. Yeah. And she's willing to put up bread to help those teams be successful. Now, Willie Green, I think he is a better head coach than what we've seen in the past. When you look at who did we have right before Willie Green came in, we had Stan Van Gundy, whose selling point was being able to help the team play better from a defensive standpoint because that wasn't what they were able to succeed with the previous guy. I forget his name, my homeboy. But he got fired after 1 year, and look at the success that Willie Green had at least helped this team get closer and closer. They've been taking strides. It may not necessarily be the strides that we want, but if you look at the progress year to year, like this may not necessarily mean anything, right? But last season, the Pels were actually the number 1 or number 2 team, but then they stopped being number 1, number 2 for after 2 weeks.
But see, that goes to my point about coaching ownership. If you realize you have a talented team, how do you motivate those boys to play? And I'm just trying to use the Pelicans as an example. Not trying to focus on them, but how do you motivate your team to thrive? Like the Rockets, for example. Okay, well, they have a talented player, they have a talented team. In Jalen Green, and they have a talented team around him as well. How do you get Jalen Green to be more motivated? Well, Ime Udoka has done that. So we've seen a coach actually ingratiate himself and help improve a player. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think it is X's and O's, right? It is talent. It is about the players giving you that passion. But I think that passion is also, it's a culture that's got to be in place in order for that to actually happen. And that starts with top down.
Yeah, man, but I agree. I do believe that there is an alignment there between Vince Vincent and Willie Green. And I will say the one person that I think is the odd man out is Dave Griffin, because even though he's he has, the XYZ, I will never forgive that man for the stuff in Cleveland with LeBron and all that, how that all trickled out. I never really thought he was the best from an executive vice president or whatever his title and standpoint. I think that's the one piece that needs to be taken out and replaced with someone else, because I don't believe that Willie Green is necessarily the issue from the coaching standpoint, because if you look at the Pels, they've done really well with drafting, and I think he's done a really good job from being mentored by Montez Williams, who used to be the head coach of the Pels back in the day. As far as bringing a different culture and dynamic and helping those young guys get better. But you got to also look, it's not just Zion and Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram is one of the oldest guys on that team. You have a lot of young guys that are still only in maybe year 2 or year 3 that are still trying to figure things out. I used to hear you can't judge a prospect that you've drafted until they probably get into that 3rd year of that contract. That's that's a quote that I learned from my Sims GM, Mickey Loomis. He's like, we never really can evaluate someone after we see what they've done after their third season in the NFL. So I apply the same thing to the NBA.
You want to give them more time, be a little patient
Yes.
with players. I think they have enough veterans on the squad. But at the same time, I think they need to possibly let go of their veterans. CJ and Valanciunas, more so CJ, but
I like
those two-
Valanciunas and
those two
CJ,
didn't show up enough for me in the playoffs. I thought Valley could have actually exposed Chet a little bit. But again,
Yeah.
from a team perspective, now I'm not trying to say the Pelicans are the best team, but I think they had talent that, okay, we've cultivated properly. Y'all could have done something. I said the same thing about the Wolves to my cousins, actually, and they didn't believe me at the time, but I said, like, they could be a top 4 team in the West, and they're in the West Conference Finals.
I agree. I think that's the only
past
hold.
season. So,
I agree. I believe that's the only hold up. It's like the Pels, you see the potential, and during the season, they get to that point. But then they don't know how to sustain it for the longevity. And then it goes from you being the top team at one point for a few weeks. Now you've trickled down. You just get a spew. Like you get like a few weeks of just L, and then you're basically trying to like fight to just get into the play-in tournament by the time playoffs roll around. It can't be like that. And that's where I say, when it comes to coaching development and like being able to win without your star players comes into effect.
Yeah. I think what you said earlier about adversity, if a team can't get over that hump, if they can't fight through things, look at the Knicks.
You deserve what you
like. You gotta at some point in time be able to fight for what you want, even though you're at a lesser stance than what you had expectations going into that series or going into that season, whatever the situation is. So the best teams do figure a way to get it done through adversity. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I was just curious what's your stance on the best team. You know what I'm saying? So, but ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope you all enjoyed that segment thus far. We're gonna take a quick hiatus because the buzzer did just sounded. So, but we'll be back a little bit. So bear with us. But I hope y'all enjoying it. You good?
Yeah.
All right, that's a bet. We'll be back momentarily.
Hooping is an activity that can be enjoyed by all. It's a team game about getting and stopping buckets. Everyone's always rushing to the goal. Well, make sure to rush and watch Team Gold Rush, one of the best teams in the Special Olympics of Virginia. Team Gold Rush even has former NBA All-Star participants on the team. Clearly, they've struck gold. Ready to suit up and practice? I know. We talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice. Practice still makes perfect. So when the opponent starts hitting their shots, Team Gold Rush can bounce back due to their training. Remember, offense sells tickets and defense wins championships. Watch us get a bucket and rush for the gold. We aim to be that gold standard. So want a team where you can win and have fun? Team Gold Rush is your number one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. You know what I'm saying? We got a nice little one for y'all. Devin, I don't know how much you really can speak on this conversation, right?
All right.
Being a Pels fan and a Saints fan, y'all ain't really won but so much. But what do you rather have, like to actually win a competition or to have competition? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, if you win a title, but everybody feels like you ain't really played nobody. Like,
you still won at the end of the day.
But it doesn't really have value for you? Does it matter?
You can say what you want. See, you want to throw my team under the bus, but last I checked, the Panthers got to the Super Bowl and lost.
I feel you.
Think
let's hold on.
Do you think it's more the fact that
just clarification? Because you don't want to start throwing stones now. Because I said football and basketball combined. So let's talk about my football and basketball teams combined versus your football and basketball teams. Don't worry, I'll wait.
Well,
thought so. Yeah, exactly. It's good being.
What are you talking about, college team or the NBA team?
And college, I'm still dogging you. But NBA, my team got 16 titles. That's right. We're not talking about. No. Lakers, brother.
Okay, well, I thought you were referring to North Carolina. Like How you gonna have the Panthers and then the freaking Lakers on the
Because when I
West
first
Coast?
started watching football, it was when the Panthers played the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and I stuck with the Panthers.
Y'all see this? Y'all see
and
this
I
going
stuck.
on right
Yes, 21 years of fan support for the Panthers.
See that? So for me, he gonna put me with two teams that are from the same state. He won't even take
them.
He won't even take the Hornets for his team.
They're not my team.
They from your hometown,
but
no,
hold on. But we're talking about the teams you support.
But I do support the Lakers as well, though. So I mean, you could make the argument. I could take out the Pels and put the Lakers.
So your NBA team is who? Because you said the Pels. So your NBA team.
I like the Pels, but I like the Lakers as well. I'm very
diverse. Who do you support the most?
Who do I support the most?
I mean, I just need one answer.
I'm gonna say the Lakers because of Coach James.
Now he wants to throw the Lakers. Okay,
no,
cool.
I go wherever LeBron.
So then, winning versus competition, you value winning more. Competition does not matter as much for you.
Because I believe that, look at it like this, right? Let's take a team like Nebraska this past season, college football. They went 3-8, but they did face some pretty stellar competition. I don't know if you want to count the Colorado game that they lost as competition much. Colorado didn't do much this past year after that, USC game, unfortunately. But when you think about it, when you have a culture that only knows how to win, it means that you have established a mentality where it's like, okay, you love winning or hate losing way more than you love to win. So you never want to be in that position where you have to deal with a loss. The example, Nick Saban at Alabama, all they know is competing for the NCAA championship every year because that's the standard. Mm-hmm. The Patriots, for those 20 years, the standard was always getting back to a Super Bowl. So and they went back, 10 times, won 7 out of 10. So they had that attitude and that mentality, and that's what led into their play. My man, Coach K, really great basketball coach. I love his speech where I got a chance to listen to him talk about his 2015 men's basketball team, and their mantra and attitude was the 3 E's: energy, enthusiasm, and emotion. Is what they played with, and that led to what you saw when they were battling through adversity. They knew how to overcome it. And I feel like when you have a winning culture, whenever things may be pushing you against the side, how do I get through this? I'll even use my personal life. Won a high school championship my senior year. We went 15-0. Was a top 10 team nationally. And sometimes even winning cures tough coaching. When you're losing, sometimes it's not as easy for guys to take in coaching. Because it's like, how are you going to coach me? And then we over here losing and whatnot still. It's not really working.
Let me ask you this, though, because you say, I hear a lot of winning, right? But we've talked about adversity, mm-hmm. which comes with challenges, right? You know what I'm saying? So that sounds to me like competition. And not a lot of times, but I feel like sometimes we see winning, but question the competition.
That's not always true.
I said sometimes. What do you mean it's not always true?
For example,
like you're saying in those sometimes moments, it's not always true.
I'll use an example. This past season, I'm gonna take it to the NFL. The Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints had the top 2, what they would classify as the top 2 easiest schedules in the entire NFL. The Falcons had the easiest. The Saints had the second easiest. What was the Falcons' record last season? Even with the easiest schedule, they went 7-10. Mm-hmm. Saints went 9-8. Mm-hmm. So just because it might be easy from the eyes of the NFL standpoint, based on who you were playing, doesn't always mean it's going to trickle into you actually winning. Another opposite example, you had a team like James Madison, the football team. The past few years, they were doing really well. They won the NCAA, what was it, the AA one? They won that entire thing back in 2016, and then they moved in from the FCS over to the FBS. conference. So they're now playing people like you would see, like a Fresno State or a Boise State. And people thought that when they did that transition from FCS to FBS, that was going to be a shell shock for them. But this past season, they didn't necessarily go undefeated or get ranked, I don't think, but they still held their own against a different conference level of competition because they have the pillars and standards in place. It's not going to change how they practice. If anything's going to make them want it more if you have those pillars in place.
I'm gonna have to stop.
Success.
I'm gonna have to stop you there because I was hoping you weren't gonna bring up college football. Because
like example.
Well, I hear that, but like using the team like TCU for example, they went undefeated, but then people look at their competition and question, okay, well, why are they in a championship game? And then they get dog walked. Come on, little fella, like they got dog walked in the title game. Let's look at Notre Dame. They don't get really a lot of praise, but they've had winning seasons though. Like let's talk about my Trojans, who y'all were talking about. Oh well, you play in the Pac-12, so you alluded to less competition. So even if we did win, it's the Pac-12. What competition were they going up against? And now we're talking about them going to the NFL, where you're judging players because of their competition. So if we're going to say the lack of competition is a cause for pause for me drafting this player because he might not be that good, then if we're going to say, well, this team shouldn't be here because of the competition they've gone up against, I feel like we got to question, why is winning valued more than the competition itself? Remember, you said one time, what makes a good team is battling through adversity. It's not just
But you can battle adversity while also still winning.
You can.
Prime example, like my team, I'll use my high school team. Back in high school, we were playing against South County. We were down 21 to 7 at halftime.
Right.
And then we had a really tough halftime conversation with the coaches and everybody. We come out that game, and then the final score was 55-21. South County did not score a lick after that. Because for so long, we had this, we were like, it went back to the stuff that we preached back during the offseason. What do we want to be? A team that chases, we want to chase perfection while pursuing excellence. Because we know we're never going to be perfect. And so having to play out that way during the season.
Right.
But we had a standard where we're going to, we know what we're capable of. We want to continue to just achieve excellence. And we know that we're not playing what we're capable of. How do we change it around? Those teams that know how to win know how to turn things around when things are not going their way.
Yeah.
In the spirit of the moment.
But
that's mentality.
Like you said, though, we're not going to be able to win every single game. So, for me, I'm not going to focus on winning as much. I'm trying to focus on the competition. Now, you got to play who you play, right? Yeah. As a Laker fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can say that the Nets might not have been the best team when we played them, or maybe Philly might not have been the best team. Cool. But we had to play who we had to play. But I can at least say, all right, well, this was competition. And I can break down why I felt like this was competition. So for me, it was satisfactory.
And that goes back to my point. I think it comes back to the factors, like you said.
Yeah, but a season like the bubble, though, my team wins, but the competition was a little off.
You feel like the competition was a little off.
As an NBA unit, yeah, personally. So, and I'm not trying to focus on that one. I'm just using it as an example. I want to focus on the competition aspect for my teams.
Yeah.
Not just the winning. No, don't get me wrong. I like winning. I love winning, ladies.
I'm about to say, because if you want to question your W,
you done seen my.
If you want to question the W, we can take that cubic zirconia ring that LeBron got and throw that in the trash.
I don't count it. I told you we have 16 titles.
I do count that.
We have 16 titles.
But I will count it. I will count that one just because of the fact that look at the because that was one of the that would probably make. I'm not gonna say never. You never know what could happen in life. That was the only finals championship that was played during a pandemic. You have to factor in this. They were still winning and did what they did in one of the craziest, toughest circumstances that we can honestly say, because we didn't have, a vaccine at that point. We didn't have, all this research, or like we didn't really have a real sense of direction of like how we're gonna go about all this. It doesn't help that we had a crappy president either, but that's besides the point. But the fact remains the same, right? The other issue we have to factor in is that the players also said that they wanted to continue to play. We don't talk about that aspect. There were certain players that I'm pretty sure there was a conversation about, do we want to continue the season? A lot of guys were okay with that. Doesn't mean that everybody was okay with it, but then some guys will use them not being okay with it as an excuse for why they may or may not have played their best. So we have to think of it from that angle as well. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter how you win as long as you get the win. Nobody's going to talk about.
People will talk about that. I don't lie. Don't lie. People will. It has an asterisk. Even the lockout seasons, people try to throw asterisks on those championships.
You said the Cavaliers have an asterisk from
they cheated.
2016?
That 3-1 comeback is not I only give it.
He's just hating on LeBron, y'all. That's what this is.
No, and I actually made a video about this. I want y'all to check it out too. It's from the Wacky segment, because LeBron James actually throws down Draymond Green, steps over him. Mm-hmm. Both of them get a technical. If nothing else happens, I'm cool. 3-1 comeback happens. But the moment you suspend Draymond Green, because he didn't get suspended for the technical, he got suspended because that technical was upgraded to a flagrant for Draymond Green. The victim got his suspension upgraded because of Adam Silver upgrading it, because LeBron James said, he called me a B. Like, that lessens the competition for me. Now, the reason why I let him get somewhat of a pass for 2016 is because 2015, Kyrie and Kevin Love were lost. So it hurt the competition a little bit. But you're also going up against a young Warriors team, and you're the guy in the series. So you can possibly pull it out. But that was the first time I legitimately tipped my cap to Braun. Because, again, he's going up against stiff competition. And if he wins this, that's tough.
But that's what I'm saying is, right, you had a three-headed monster with that Warriors team with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and then...
You mean the homegrown boys?
Yeah.
As opposed to Braun seeing what Kyrie is doing and then bringing Kevin Love because they had the number 1 pick and got Andrew Wiggins and then traded him. You mean that? Because what I'm saying is this. It goes back to the Pelicans that you brought up. Even without Draymond getting that, foul upgrade, if the Warriors wanted to and if they were willing to, they could have kept it going. But as soon as Draymond got taken out of the equation, everything just fell apart. And that goes back to my argument, right? Great teams figure out a way to still continue to keep the train rolling, even if one of their key contributors may not necessarily be there to carry a lot of the weight. And it's not just Draymond, right? Because imagine Draymond's still there, Game 5. Bogut actually gets injured Game 5, and he too.
Yeah. But
you still have Draymond there. So if they don't win it in 5, they win it in 6.
I agree with you on that.
Like that's my thing, because you're right. We just talked about this. You're supposed to battle adversity, ladies and gentlemen. You're supposed to battle through adversity.
Yeah.
But if your peoples get cheated, they get robbed. I'm not expecting any team to battle through that unless you're going up against lesser competition. Which I don't view the Cavs as lesser competition because of the.
But you're making it seem like they were playing against. That's like you're making it sound almost like you're saying like if this was a FCS team playing an FBS team. We know that those are two different levels of like competition, right? Yeah, this is the NBA we're talking about. So regardless of who you're playing, regardless of what the record is, you still got to show up. These guys get paid millions to perform, regardless of what their record or what you may view them as from a competition standpoint.
I kind of disagree because again, if I'm going to go off that logic, then I'm going to have to fault Braun for losing to the Cavs as opposed to giving him credit for losing in 6 because of his team being depleted injury-wise. It hurt the level of competition to a degree. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's how. I'm trying to help your man's out. Because you said I'm a Braun hater, and I'm giving him credit for losing.
I was being
so
facetious.
I don't know. I'm not liking too much. Everybody that come on this show act like I'm a Braun hater, bro. I'm just trying to.
Hold on, I'm not everybody.
Man, yeah, you know what? Buzzer just sounded, but damn it. I've been waiting to blow the whistle. Go ahead and just end it. You know what I'm saying? Halftime about to take place. But no, it was a good conversation though. It was good. It was a good conversation. You ain't win nothing, but you was good competition. You know what I'm saying? You see what I did there, ladies and gentlemen?
Okay.
But what we're gonna do?
I got something for your ass. Next segment.
But look, what we're gonna do is take a quick hiatus, pay some bills, and you know when we come back, maybe he'll change his mind and get back on track. You know, it's called Get a Bucket, daggone it. So we trying to help him out a little bit. He like winning too much, but yet he picked the Nolan Pelicans and never mind. I'm sorry. We'll be back.
You picked the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. We'll be back after a moment of these sponsors.
The I'm Perfectly Made Foundation believes that routine screenings can save lives and that access to these services should not be a barrier. Our mission is to promote eye health education, free eye exams, free eye screenings, and free glasses to our communities with the focus of highlighting early detection. The I'm Perfectly Made Foundation also gives individuals with low vision and blindness the opportunities to be a part of certain community events regardless of visual impairments.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Look, quarter 3, you know what I'm talking about. Devin, we're just going to get right on into it, bro. It's called Get a Bucket, right? It's a sports show. It's your favorite show's favorite show. What's your favorite sport?
So, for our audience, if any of y'all haven't realized by now, just for me being here, I talk a lot about football. So that would probably be the one I'm most passionate for.
Okay. Now, because I've just been a little curious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like people who play football a little wired different. Mm-hmm. What made that appealing? Like you seeing someone knock the hell out of somebody else.
I don't think it. So to give the audience a little backdrop with how I got involved with football, because I didn't start that. In my family, we have a tradition where the boys have to start up. They're going to start a sport. It has to be baseball first. So I started with t-ball. So baseball actually was my first natural born sport that I ever played. Mm-hmm. The reason why I started getting into football at the time, I lived in Texas, and we all know Texas in football is like a marriage right then and there. So going into middle school, 7th grade, all the guys that I was friends with, everybody was doing football. So I was like, I don't want to feel left out of the party. So that's when I joined football. Okay. And that's where that started. And football taught me things that I feel like still carry over to who I am today in terms of having discipline, you know, being disciplined, knowing how to control, you know, your anger, for example, as well when you're going across somebody, knowing how to like come early, stay late.
It gave you structure.
Yes,
I get that too. Basketball. So obviously, again, the show's called Get a Bucket, right? I ain't no janitor out here, but I love hoops. Now, janitors are cool too. Though. I don't want to make it seem like that was a jab. I'll just make sure bucket, get a bucket. It's a difference. And that's I'm actually kind of a little upset too because on YouTube, if you put in bucket or get a bucket, buckets be showing up before me. I'd be pissed. We got to make that. We got to change that around. But get a bucket or basketball. That's my first. You know what I'm saying?
Like and subscribe. Get our audience up. Come on now, we need y'all.
Just look, we appreciate it. But not like that. That's my first love. And like I said, or like you said. Who I am today is because of basketball to a degree now. Like obviously there's other elements, but you learn life lessons through sports. Sports is a microcosm of life. So that's definitely I'm glad that you said that because I think a lot of times we don't think about, okay, well, let's say somebody who loves football, why did they love football? It's probably the same reason why you love baseball or why you love basketball, or why you love hockey, or why you love backgammon, like whatever the case may be. So now we're more alike than we probably realize, ladies and gentlemen. Now, out of curiosity, though, because, I mean, you and I do kind of differ now. Again, I play basketball, you play football, okay? That's your passion. So what's your least sport to play? Like least favorite sport to play?
I'll say these two are my least favorite because I've never played either one of them: lacrosse and hockey.
Brother, don't listen. I said one, but all right.
I'm giving you two. I'm giving the audience a little extra, just because I'm feeling generous.
So lacrosse and hockey. If you had to order it, which one's worse for you?
I would say lacrosse because I don't understand the rules of it. I feel like I can understand hockey a little bit more.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the rules are fairly similar. You got to pass to your teammates, try to get the ball in the net or the puck in the net, and you can fuck up the other person. I'm sorry, you can mess up the other person.
I'm not getting hit with a stick.
What is a?
I know when a brother trying to come at me with the licks and whatnot in hockey. Bro, you got brothers in lacrosse just swinging the net on you, trying to hit you like you part of the KKK.
All right, okay. So you also brought up a point earlier too, right? About you being on skates in hockey.
I did, yeah.
So, like running versus being on skates.
Yeah.
I think it's a little different. So I'm just saying, like, if you get pushed, you had an ice skating rink. You know what I'm saying? You might fall and bust your ass. And you got somebody sitting up who's trying to actually bust your ass. Like, nah, dog. I personally, and I've seen lacrosse live. I tell you right now, I wouldn't do that sport either. But what I will say is I would put hockey a little bit ahead of it. But I still would throw football ahead of both of them. I'm telling you right now, have y'all seen Aaron Donald try to tackle somebody? Like, ain't no way in the world. And there's no disrespect. I don't care how much padding I have on. It does not matter. I don't care even if it's like at a bouncy house. Like, I know if I get hit, I'm gonna fall down on like I don't care.
Let me
like I would rather.
I know these are not good. This is not a good question for you. But if you had to pick the lesser of two evils, would you be more scared of getting tackled by Aaron Donald or more scared of getting tackled by Ray Lewis? Now me, I already know who.
That's two football players though. Like
one plays linebacker, the other one plays defensive line. So,
but again, that's two football players on the defensive end. Like holla at me name me a lacrosse player, right? And then name me a hockey player that would be like the scariest ones in the history.
I don't know.
I bet everything I have that they don't even come close to Aaron Donald or Ray Lewis. So again, my answer is gonna be football, ladies and gentlemen. Have you seen them brothers play football? Go watch them if you haven't. I'm not taking no L from there, but I will say there is one thing where, like, you know, if I'm on the ice skating ring and someone does hit me and I feel like I could fall awkwardly a little more than in football too. So I will give you that. Lacrosse, I just got to worry about the sticks. Yeah. And so respectfully, all I got to do is throw the ball and get it the hell away from me. Like that's what, you know what I'm saying? Like I can at least do that. So and then I get to do some hitting.
I feel you. I think the reason why it's like those are like two is because you can find like with hockey, it's like I understand the way to go about hockey and how the scoring and everything works. I just wouldn't want to get on there with skates on and try to do it. But then with lacrosse, it's like it might be a little easier, like just to run with cleats on because you ran with cleats in football. But then you don't understand the rules or how to do everything and how to pass and all this stuff and defend. So it's like, how am I gonna play that when I don't understand that? So it's like
I don't care about the passes. I'm not gonna get hit.
But you know what I'm saying?
Once it leaves mine, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care.
You gotta make sure you're passing that motherfucker.
I'm gonna throw it in the vicinity, bro. You better be able to catch it. Like I promise you. And
that's the other thing. You gotta catch the
man.
That ball hurt.
Yeah,
that ain't no baseball. That's some solid that's like a bowling ball in a miniature version. Like nah,
that's fast. But I am curious though, what y'all think is what y'all's least favorite sport to play? Because I'm standing, like, 10 toes down on football. Like he's saying lacrosse or hockey. So I'm curious what y'all thoughts is. Maybe someone might say basketball. I'd be a little pissed too because it's cool getting the bucket. That was casual. But ladies and gentlemen, quarter 3 just ended as y'all heard the buzzer earlier. So what we're gonna do is take a quick hiatus, pay some bills, come right back. You good? That's a bet. All right. Well, y'all heard what I just said. See y'all in a little bit.
Sports is one of the few things that genuinely connects us together. Whether with coworkers, friends, family, We all love the entertainment. Well, here on Get a Bucket, my goal is to talk about sports and its cultural impact. The WNBA, for example. The WNBA is loads of entertainment. From the new rookies battling, displaying their skill sets, and preparing to take the league by storm, to the Titans and the MVPs of the league clashing for battles we'll always remember. From imagining the soon-to-be possibilities, to admiring and treasuring the finales. Get a Bucket is a platform where other sports analysts, hoopers, coaches, and fans of the show come and talk about the WNBA, both negatives and positives. So if you haven't, take a quick peek. At the very least, you'll have a good time. Remember, sports is one of the few things that genuinely connects us together. So please, tune in and stay connected.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Listen, y'all see the basketball, right? You know what I'm saying? Y'all see what we talked about. Oh, that was a good one, too. Holla at me, Steph, lethal shooter. Y'all saw it.
I think he'd be better throwing a football. That's my opinion.
That's crazy. That's crazy. He act like he can actually really play football. He be throwing like a girl. That's what. But hey, I don't know if y'all realize this though. Women are professional football players out here. You see what I did there? I'll tell you that might be a little smooth. That might be a little smooth.
I knew where you were going with that. That's why I was like, you know what? Let them have this one. Let them have this moment. It's 2 minutes of fame.
Exactly. That's crazy. My 2 minutes of fame.
What's 2 seconds? My bad.
It's 15 minutes. But listen. So we actually went to the Women's Football Alliance, one of the games at least, DC Divas. They had a wonderful, wonderful game, right? They actually won their game that we went to. My thing was this, right? I'm not the most football-oriented person. Like, if y'all have ever listened to any of the shows, again, it's called Get a Bucket, right? But I do watch football. I do like football. Their league was all right, bro. Like, it was good. Now, these girls can hit. Yes. They can run. They can throw. And I'm not just talking about like, okay, everybody can run, throw, and catch, but like they can actually do it pretty well. Mm-hmm. I think you should go watch them. But again, You said you played football. Mm-hmm. I just watched. So I wanted to make sure y'all got it from the fan perspective. But coaches coming up. You know what I'm saying? So talk to him, coach. What we got? What we got? Like how was the game for you? The DC Divas. Again, they dog walk. Come on, little fella. They did dog walk their team. But obviously we can criticize everybody. So give them some pros and cons.
Okay, I would say from a pros standpoint, I like the fact that with this team you had women who were like, I didn't know this. These women actually pay to play football. It's not like even though they're classified as a professional women's league, it's almost like a high school team still. And from the standpoint of like even when I played in high school, we had to pay an athletic fee to be able to play football, but we wasn't getting NILs or big NFL contracts per game, right? These girls are a professional team, so to speak. Even from a UFL standpoint, like the DC Defenders or the San Antonio Brahmas that The Rock runs for his Arena Football League. Those guys make like $50K during the season, roughly.
And it's crazy because we complain about players getting paid millions of dollars to give effort. Mm-hmm. And these girls give effort. We saw countless players out there injured. And let me paint the scene. It was raining.
Yes.
A little windy. A little dark.
It got cold too.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And they're giving it their all, bro. Mm-hmm. And again, people are getting paid millions to give less effort, essentially. Because we're questioning their effort. I didn't question none of the girls' effort on the field. But I just wanted to make that statement because, you were in your soapbox.
Yeah, no. So I would say, like, that's, from my standpoint, something I wish, like, we could see change. We definitely, because they don't get, and the girls were on, ESPN2?
They're on ESPN2.
They were on ESPN2, but we want to get that. We want to be able to get that to the level of like the women's NBA is right now. Like women's NBA has been around for a long time. We know that, and we personally feel like the Women's Football Alliance is right, or
WFA.
Yeah, WFA is going to be that next up and coming seed of growth that we're going to start seeing around the area and everything else.
It's crazy that you actually mentioned WNBA. Mm-hmm. So right now, WNBA is actually growing, right?
Yes.
And I thought that the WNBA can reach that same level. I'm sorry, the WFA can reach the same level as the WNBA did. But a couple of years ago, like it'll be at that infancy stage, even though it's been around since like 2009. It's crazy. I think it could actually pop off. And they've gotten some good exposure around them too. So I do like the direction it at least seems to be heading. You also got a solid little rivalry going on between the DC Defenders, shout out, and the Boston Renegades. Boo, not playing. Hey, cool. But like you get a good rivalry. Like look at that. Like so we got the DC Divas and the Boston Renegades. And you know, like I said, everybody loves a good rivalry at the end of the day. So I think that's a solid pro to have. And I got to watch the other teams to see maybe if they rivalry worthy. But these two, from a history standpoint, do have good rivalries. But the cons, though, and again, there's a lot of pros. Over time, we'll talk about the pros. We'll talk about the pros of the pros, I guess. But the cons, what did you see, Coach Devin?
From a DC Divas standpoint, well, the most obvious thing we talked about this is that because they're really a local team, they don't have as much from like an advertising standpoint. They don't have necessarily the same media coverage. Because it's not as.
Because you get ESPN too sound like some good media.
It is.
I
I'm just saying, like, we need more. We need more people. Like, any audience help us out here. We just need more people to come out and represent. I want to see like the same amount of crowds that y'all have on a Friday night to go see a scrub high school team play, which you need to be bringing over to the DC Divas that are actually putting in that work and trying to show out something. They're actually winning right now. That's all I'm saying from a con standpoint. Now, I'm an offensive-minded person, so I'm going to be a little bit more critiquing when it comes to the offense than I am in the defense, because that, I think, was also what, even though it was a pretty good game, I think the offense still left a lot to be desired from the jump. And
well, compare it to the NFL, because I want to make sure people understand you're not bashing them.
No.
You're seeing there's a comparison. Like, we can compare the WNBA to NBA. So I want to add the professionals, right? Equality. Compare them then. Like, what on the cons aspect? Like, were there things you saw that you don't necessarily see in the NFL, and then were there things that you do see in the NFL that they do wrong?
Yeah. So start from the most obvious thing. If you're gonna be a high flying, powerful offense, you can't just keep, and this is what I think you agreed with me on, we saw that for a decent portion of the entire game, they were running out of the same spread formation. And which made it very, very easy to predict what they may or may not do. Like, the problem with running a spread offense all the time is when it comes to running the ball, it's easy to know if the running back's on the quarterback's left-hand side, the ball is going to go that way. If it's on that side, it's going to go that way. This is where I think the NFL is a lot different. When you look at, they always like to say the NFL is a copycat league.
Yeah.
Who are some of the most prolific offenses in the game right now? People who come from that McVay, Shanahan tree mold. You have the obvious, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, but then you got the Packers head coach in Matt LaFleur. You got Kevin Stefanski from the Browns, Mike McDaniel from the Dolphins. All these guys run a similar style of a modernized version of a West Coast offense, but they put their own flair into it. But the main principle is the main thing, which is why I'm excited to see what happens with, like, in our division with, like, the Bucks, the Saints, and the Falcons are all going to be running a similar style of that modernized West Coast offense because of who their coordinators come from. They come from that tree.
So you want the Divas to kind of bring in that spread offense.
Yeah, so they have a spread off. It looks like they have a spread offense right now, but what I would like to see is them switch it up a little bit. Don't just be, 2 wide receivers on one side, 2 wide receivers on the other side, and then
don't be too
11 out of 11 or 12 personnel. I want you to, like, give me some trips right or some bunch formations. And then not only that, the teams that are successful, like the 49ers, right? The reason why their offense is also successful is because they can run multiple different formations out of the same, or multiple different plays, out of the one formation. Okay. So even though it looks like it could be an inside zone run play, they set that up to where it's actually going to be a passing play. because they're really good at because you run the ball to set up the pass.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would help the Divas out as well. And the other thing we have to keep in mind, eye candy. Motioning a lot, pre-snap motion. They didn't.
I was about to say where we going with this now. You talking about some eye candy? I ain't know you was going there, brother.
Hey, let's keep. I'm trying to make TV here. So yeah, if I'm a defensive player, right? What do we typically see when you bring in motion, a pre-snap motion in the picture? It causes the defense to sort of shift. Okay. So if I call a play where, let's say I got to bring my receiver over here, and it shifts the defense to shift a little bit more to that left side, but then I still call an inside run. Now you have less defenders on that right-handed side of the ball that I can just hand to the running back, and they have more space to run because I did that preset motion and brought them to the other side. Okay. That is what I think would help from the offense for the Divas standpoint, just be a little bit more prolific. And then also, this is just my other critique. This is something that we had found out post-game. If you're going to be a professional team, right, an audience, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would assume even like a high school team has a coach for almost every position. Right? You have your offensive line coach, you have a running back coach, a quarterback coach, a defensive coordinator, maybe even like a safeties and linebackers coach, all those things for each position, right? So why did they not have, a coach specifically for the running backs? They don't have a running back coach. That's as far as we know. I think that doesn't help. How are you supposed to, train a position up to be where they need to be at if you don't have the coach that's able to help push the needle forward? And especially if you want to, and we saw the Divas start to include some motion, but it was already a little too late at that point. It was like they didn't start doing that until, the end of the third, beginning of the fourth quarter? Yeah,
from a running back standpoint, did you feel like their running back was decent at least?
The running back was decent. Their running backs can run the ball well. One of the girls, 24, she wore 24, literally like the female version of Marshawn Lynch out there running that rock. But
so it sounds like you got a couple good ideas. Mm-hmm. We might need to get you to be the running back coach then for the DC Divas.
We'll see. But I would say this as well. I think for the running backs, you need to do a better job of it can't just be inside zone handoff. Maybe do a little bit of an HV zone where you have the quarterback under center and have the running back right behind them. Mm-hmm. Or you do like how the Ravens do. You have Lamar Jackson a few steps behind the center, and then you have the running back a couple steps behind Lamar Jackson. Almost like an I formation, T formation.
What about something like Wildcat?
Yes, I would like to see them incorporate Wildcat as well if they can do that.
Okay, because again, that was it. I ain't, it's running backs. That's a running backs. I feel like favorite play.
Well, and especially because running backs, as we know, especially in the NFL, that's an undervalued position. Mm-hmm. But I feel like if you can do a lot, out of that when you utilize them the right way. But I think it also could. It's easy for us to also critique based off of what we saw off of one game, but we also may not necessarily know what is the personnel for this team. Can they actually run a lot of pre-snap motion? Do they have the players to be able to run the type of formations that we want to see? Okay. I don't even know if this team has a tight end. I don't think we saw any tight end out there block. They just had linemen. They had 5 linemen, the running back, and then 2 receivers on both sides. I don't think I ever saw at any point during the game a tight end being utilized. So that's another thing that I think the Divas would need to fix from an offensive standpoint, from my eyes. Okay. Defensively, they have some studs there. They have a girl who is, in my opinion, a really good cornerback. Your girl is
a solid linebacker over there.
She'll be a starting linebacker at some point whenever she takes on the reins there. They have a really nice number 92, I believe her number was, defensive end. She looked like a prolific high school ball playing defensive end. She looked really good out there.
They have good talent.
They have really good talent.
They actually have one girl who played on, I forget the college that she went to, but she played for like an actual college football team. Mm. So she played with the boys. So again, it just goes to show it's a women's professional football league. Mm-hmm. She's played with the men before. Yeah. It's only a matter of time before this league pops off, similarly to how we've had the WNBA. We just need a Caitlin Clark and a couple more. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. We need a solid glory year, a glory decade, I would say, or glory couple seasons, and then a Caitlin Clark.
And we as a society can make that happen. We don't necessarily have to rely on one player to be like, oh, have you seen this person? Look at her highlights or whatever. No, we need to, as a group and as a community, we need to start empowering that sport to help it, take flight, so to speak, in my opinion.
Yeah, because even when I said Caitlin Clark, if you notice, I put quotations around it because we're looking at Caitlin Clark, but you also got to look at Angel Reese. You got to look at other players.
I'll throw my girl out.
So, you know what I'm saying? So, like, again, I'm just
Shout
saying
out Angel.
There is a highlight. There is a focal point that people, cling to. So, Caitlin Clark is the face of the program. But there's other people that you do want to go see. Like, it's a lot of entertaining players out there. I personally look forward to seeing the DC Divas play the Boston Renegades. That's going to be my first time rooting against the Boston Renegades. Sorry, y'all. I apologize in advance. But let's go Divas. Beat that tail. You know what I'm saying? So, again, y'all, we got fans out here now. So, ladies and gentlemen, please go watch the DC Divas when you want to, when you get a chance. They are ESPN2. You can go watch them on YouTube. You can see them on the highlights. You might be watching them right now. Who knows? It might be above me as I'm talking.
Hey, but y'all might see me on the sideline if they decide they want me because
he might be. He might be. That might be him. That might be him.
I wouldn't do all that.
Like, he lying. He lying.
I wouldn't do much of that.
Lying ass. But ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I don't know if y'all heard the quarter. I blew the whistle, right? The quarter ended. I don't know if y'all heard the horn or not, but yeah, no, that was a good episode, bro. That was a good episode. You got anything you want to say before we close up shop?
No. Again, just hope everybody's having a great Memorial weekend, spending time with your loved ones, your family, whoever you're rocking with. And as always, I like to make sure that everybody out there stay blessed. Keep doing what you got to do. If you don't see or no one tells you that they're proud of you, I am. Everybody. So keep rocking. Keep doing what you got to do. Appreciate y'all.
I like that message. I support it. I would just like to say, though, you know this ain't going to drop on Memorial Day weekend.
It may not drop on
I'm just letting you know that. Like, yeah, I'm
hey,
just letting you know that, dog.
Real time. We can cut that out. We can cut that out. But remember, even if you may not be having a good day, don't you dare go listen to anybody else's.
Just on Memorial Day, though. He said just on Memorial Day. So the other 364
I
days.
said weekend. I said Memorial weekend.
I'm sorry.
Grammatically,
other 362 days. I'm sorry.
65, my G.
I said other 362.
Okay, whatever. All right, we ain't talking about that.
You said weekend. I gave
I'll
you 3
give him
days.
We'll give him
it's
that.
a long weekend. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope y'all all enjoy it. Hope y'all have a wonderful year, right? My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. As you can see, my guy Devin on the screen as well. So please like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone about the show. Again, y'all didn't hear earlier, the host of Get a Bucket. Hope y'all had a good one. Take care.
I did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I got to go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. We